The scripts were great. Even though they did get cut up and limited, they showed a man with power, and he was great, evil. My fear was that these kids would have been taken either by a private sector company or a government and used against us. And secondly, I cared about them.
Your kids are messy when they implode. You had to put down an entire class.
The X2s were an anomaly.
I remember running to my agent's office and going, oh, I got to get home and get the children's dinner on, and I was working in the theater and just, you know, the usual actors, you know, mother's life. And I did the scenes, put them on tape, and they were sent to Canada, and next thing I knew, I was going to Vancouver.
Hello, Mr. Smith. Your wife's a genetically engineered soldier, escaped from a secret government lab, and you're in terrible danger.
Madam X was conceived by James Cameron because this is something that didn't come across in what I played. There's a scene in one of the last shows I did that was cut that you see Madam X injecting her thigh. And it becomes clear that why she's chasing these children around is that she is taking their DNA and she has somehow found a way around aging. She had an agenda, and she felt like, you know, we've created these things and we can use them.
I think we quickly discovered that the money, what was really working was Logan and Max, and that there was a love affair there.
Finding love, she has it with Logan, and I think she rejects it at first because it makes you feel things, it opens you up. You know, everybody knows about that. Love hurts and stuff, and so she's kind of like, God, this sucks, you know, I don't want this, and she does this whole, you know, cat and mouse thing with him.
Isn't it against the superhero code to use your powers to take advantage of we mere mortals?
Yeah, and I'm not done taking advantage either.
The relationship that Jessica and I had off camera was just a totally different entity from, you know, we really checked it all at the door.
One of the great scenes that I'm really proud of is the mirror shot where they're in Logan's apartment, and they walk over to a mirror, and he starts to describe this particular mirror and the framing and how special it is. And then, of course, by doing that, he begins to talk about Max, and she feels for the first time feelings that she's never had before.
Probably the most singularly beautiful face I've ever seen.
Michael read with Jessica, and Jessica, you know, they had an instant chemistry.
They had the camera rolling when I walked into the room. What actually happened, as documented on this tape, I look like I've been at once injected with some kind of truth serum and also hit in the head with a steel beam, because I look like my eyes are like this big. I look terrified, and I am obviously I'm obviously a little nervous around Jessica, which, you know, it makes a little bit of sense, I guess. And the other thing is that she was looking at me rather intently.
It was awesome. It was like, I learned so much.
When it first was on, my father called me and he said I didn't understand any of it. I watched the whole thing almost all the way through, and I don't understand what happened. So what happened? And I knew then that it was a good show.
It was a very positive experience, and always it seemed like there was a challenge going on.
I think Dark Angel is really a film about wish fulfillment.
All the characters, all the stories, everything was so rich, and I think it's because it was such a collaborative effort, and I think that that's where I think the best art comes from.
I got this job, and it was kind of like what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be in this business because somebody like Jim approved of me.
I think The Dark Angel is successful because it's an original idea. I think it's successful because it showed that there is a possibility for good times and a great life, even in the midst of tragedy.
It's really social realist piece of business, and it's about real characters, and it's not really about monsters, and it's about interpersonal relationships, and it's about Max trying to achieve wholeness through the different people that are around her.
It was the best learning experience ever.
But season 1 has resolution, it bookends. It begins with an escape, and it ends with a capture. It begins and ends in the same place. It has Max at the top of the Space Needle on the first. It has Logan on top of the Space Needle at the last.